Texas. Fans enthusiastic about tonight's main event as Evander Holyfield, the former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, takes on Vinny Maddalone. Well, Evander Holyfield at 44 years of age. He's been around the block a couple times. Gold medalist at the 1984 Olympic Games, actually bronze medalist at the 1984 Olympic Games. He first won the heavyweight championship on October the 25th, 1990 in Las Vegas against James Buster Douglas. Douglas tried to throw a lead uppercut. Holyfield finished him off with a right hand. Also, those great battles with Riddick Bowe, the domination of Mike Tyson, and then the win against John Ruiz, and in against Lennox Lewis. He's been in tremendous bouts throughout the course of his career. Jesse James Leha, when you take a look at Holyfield, obviously tonight, he's got all the experience, he's got all the know-how, he's in shape. I guess it's now a matter of reflexes, speed, reacting to things that he sees and knows.
You know what? He's just happy to be back in the ring. Injury-free, first time in years. He just wants to be in there and wants to prove himself against the best fighters in the world. Yeah, he's taking the next step. It's the next fight. What does he want? He wants a world title fight now, and he's waiting for these next champions to step up.
Now, Evander Holyfield is a guy that had 3 losses in a row for the first time in his career. He lost to James Toney, lost to Larry Donald, and he said, you know, I couldn't turn from punches, I couldn't move. Then he had shoulder surgery on both shoulders, and he says now he feels free. He feels like he could fight. He knows now that he's not injured. He knows how to fight hurt, but he says you can't fight injured.
Yeah, he said with those shoulder injuries, he couldn't move his head. He couldn't slip and slide punches. He couldn't slip anything. You had to catch him. And now he's able to move without any pain. And there's no timeline for him. He's not in a hurry to get there. He just wants to keep fighting. And he feels 2 or 3 years, he'll still be fighting.
Now, it all comes down to money, as it always does as far as the heavyweight division is concerned. Because we asked him, would you go to Germany to fight Klitschko or Moscow or wherever? And he said, why should I? The money is here in the United States. So he's going to kind of bide his time, I guess, and try to draw them here.
Yeah, and I think the Americans want a heavyweight champion. They want a true heavyweight champion. And so bring those other heavyweight champions here. That's where the money's at. We have everything else. Bring them down here and let them prove themselves.
Shannon Briggs does have a piece of one of the heavyweight championship belts, the WBO belt, but everyone kind of recognizes Vladimir Klitschko as the real heavyweight champion. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for tonight's main event, Evander Holyfield and Vinny Maddalone. Holyfield fit as ever, 216 pounds. Maddalone, 233 3/4 pounds. Reach in Holyfield's favor. And obviously, you take a look at the age. Holyfield's one of the few guys that can pull it off at the age of 44 and weigh the same as he did when he first won the title back in 1990.
And look at his body. He's incredible. He's always in top shape. He's incredible. I mean, he's always going to be able to do this. And that's what staying young in the ring, staying young in fights.
Well, there's Vinny Maddalone from Flushing in New York. Started in tough man competition. Actually pitched in college at Pfeiffer University in North Carolina, Division II school. Was pitching for the Adirondack Lumberjacks. His manager was Dave LaPointe, the Independent League. And he said he was having problems getting guys out. Went to a couple of tough man competitions. It caught his eye. He had 18 fights. And the next thing you know, he's embarking upon a career as a professional boxer. He turned pro in 1999. 123 rounds under his resume. What's his game plan tonight?
I think the game plan is to jump on Evander right away, right off the bat. Don't show him any respect. Just go in there and try to tear him up. You know, make the older man fight harder than what he wants to.
Had 5 weeks in camp to get ready. Says he feels as good as he's ever felt in his career. Well, he'll be taking on the former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world as he awaits the arrival of Evander Holyfield. Does Vinny Maddalone. Cuts are always a problem for Maddalone. In fact, his trainers tried to tell him, you can't win this fight because you're going to cut. So go out and take care of business. Evander Holyfield has fought in Corpus Christi, Texas before. But it was 23 years ago when he was originally with Main Events when he first embarked upon his pro career. And Corpus Christi has turned out to see the real deal once again.
It's a great opportunity for Corpus Christi fans to see a true heavyweight champion. And Evander held that title for so many years. I think the first 3-time heavyweight champion. It's incredible. People just want to see Elvis. He's like an Elvis here.
You know, his name has been linked in the news to some steroid allegations.
Yes.
He has addressed that. He says he will clear his name, that he has not partaken in any of that. He says it stands against everything that I stand for as an athlete.
Yeah, if you see Evander work out day in, day out, you know why he is in that type of shape.
Time for the official introductions for tonight's main event. Once again, Lupe Contreras.
From the American Bank Center, Corpus, Christi, Texas. Main event in association with Miller Lite. The American Bank Center and Joe DeGuardia Star Boxing present the featured bout of the evening. This bout, 10 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. The judges scoring the bout are Robert Bish, Dr. Ruben Garcia, and Lucy Rogers. The referee, Ruben Carrion. Introducing the fighter in the blue corner. He steps into the ring wearing the black trunks trimmed in white and weighing in at 233 3/4 pounds. His professional record, 27 victories with only 3 losses, and 19 of his victories coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Queens, New York, Vinny Maddalone. Across the ring in the red corner. He steps in wearing red trunks trimmed in purple and white and weighing in at 216 pounds. Since capturing a bronze medal for the USA in the 1984 Olympics, he has gone on to amass one of the most distinguished careers in professional boxing history. With 40 victories, only 8 losses, 2 draws, and 26 of his victories coming by way of knockout. The former undisputed cruiserweight champion, former undisputed heavyweight champion, and the only 4-time heavyweight champion in professional boxing history. Fighting out of Atlanta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, Evander, the real deal Holyfield.
You know the brief instructions in the dressing room. I want y'all to obey my commands all times. But most important of all, protect yourselves at all times, especially on the brakes and the belt. Both trunks are high. This is gonna be fair, all right? Touch gloves, turn to your corner.
So we're set for our main event. Evander Holyfield and Vinny Maddalone. Evander Holyfield, in my opinion, Jesse James Lehan, one of the most underrated fighters in his era.
Oh, I believe so too. I mean, just what he's done from cruiserweight all the way to heavyweight, it's incredible. Underrated.
Unfortunately for him, he was during the Tyson era where people seem to fall more in love with Tyson's out of the ring antics than actually the accomplishments in the ring. And I always felt that had Holyfield had a chance to fight Tyson in 1991 before Tyson went to jail, he might have been perceived differently by the American public, because I always felt even at that time that he would have beaten Mike Tyson. He's been a true warrior. Only been stopped twice in his career.
Maddalone's doing what he said he would do. He's come right after Evander, sticking that jab out.
A lot of bounce in those 44-year-old legs, huh?
Maddalone at this point, he's just following him. He's not cutting the ring off him at all. He's just following him. I think he needs to cut the ring off to be successful in driving him back. Gave the right hand.
How should he cut off the ring?
Well, just go to the right, go to the left. If Evander wants to go to his left, cut him off a little sooner than he wants to get there.
So don't follow him.
Don't just follow him in a straight line. You gotta cut the ring off on him. Like he should be going to his right while Evander goes to his left and vice versa. He threw a good left hook to the body. Maddalone did. He's trying to throw it again. I think he wants to slow Evander down. And that's how you slow a fighter down. Go to the body.
Holyfield pumping out that jab here in the first round.
Big jab right down the middle. Nice hook. Double hook.
Maddalone is a bleeder, so
I see an uppercut coming from Evander. I don't know. I just see an uppercut.
I think Maddalone's leaning
just
in.
the way he's leaning in, being aggressive, coming up down the middle. He's cut already. Maddalone's cut with that left hook that I think we saw early on. That double left hook. He's cut already.
Now they're cautioning Holyfield about a headbutt. If it's ruled an accidental clash of heads and we don't get through 4 rounds, it's a no contest. A technical draw. Vinny's cut along the left eye. That was from those hooks.
That was from those hooks.
And he is pleading with the doctor to please let me continue. Heads come together again.
Oh, he's bleeding bad now. He is bleeding bad.
Well, the blood from the right eye is from punches. The one from the forehead is from the clash of heads. They would need a surgeon in this corner to stop that bleeding. Holyfield peppers him with punches. And a right hand. There's the end of a bloody round 1.
Holyfield did not like the way Maddalone was coming after him.
What's the one here? That's what I say, Corpus. Hey, come on, please. All right, just relax. Hey, Tony, give me.
Al Cerdo, the puncher boy.
Real quick. Look at it on the side. Give me that. You were there before. Hey, ref, that headbutt is so obvious.
He's accidental. They'll both see it, all right?
Well, let's take a look at the clash of heads here. Yeah, that was Maddalone,
Yeah,
actually.
Maddalone charging in with his head down. Evander ducked in.
All the shit out of this punk. Every fight he's in, he does the same shit. Every fight he's in. All the shit out of him. Let me get the stool.
Well, they're upset in Maddalone's corner,
Fight he's in.
but that was actually Maddalone charging in with his head. Holyfield just got a tougher head, tougher skin.
Well, that's a smart thing for him to do. If someone's charging in, you put your head down. You don't want to get hit in the eyes or in the nose.
With all that said, Holyfield landed a lot of good punches in round number 1.
But you know what? Maddalone didn't do it too bad. He was landing good left hooks to the body.
Did you give the round to Maddalone, though?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. It was close, though.
Again, the blood oozes out of the forehead. At least it's not right over an eye or on an eyelid.
Yeah. But it's running good. Evander's trying to keep.
Oh, look at that jab.
That's a great jab from Evander. You see how he's not going straight back? He's going in circles, gets back in the middle of the ring. That's what I wanted those other fighters to do early on.
They're not former undisputed
Yeah,
heavyweight champions.
exactly. But it's a good learning experience. Yeah, but look at Evander. And that's what world champions do. Get back in the center of the ring. Good right hand by Maddalone over the top of Evander's head.
Now the referee, Ruben Cardion, is going to ask the doctor to look at it again.
Maddalone does not want to go to the corner. He does not want the doctor to stop this fight. He's a tough hombre.
back in. Left hook by Holyfield. Maddalone blocked just enough. Good short left by Holyfield. Left to the ear.
Yeah, Evander's trying to throw those hooks inside.
Continues to work that jab.
Watching Evander Holyfield through the years, I know he likes to throw that left hook for one. He's going to come back with the overhand right after a left hook.
Maddalone, that's his style, though.
I don't know. Maddalone was a pitcher in baseball, and he just wants to hit, throw strikes every time. He's almost throwing that right hand like a pitcher.
Holyfield blocking some of the offense from Maddalone. Holyfield's been pretty sharp with his jab. That cut on Maddalone's forehead from a clash of heads in round one. Good body work by Maddalone. As we roll to the end of the second. Number 3 for Evander Holyfield and Vinny Maddalone. Maddalone cut along the right eye from a Holyfield left in round one, then a clash of heads. And despite the protest from the Maddalone camp, it was actually Maddalone who led with his head that caused the cut. Holyfield has used a steady diet of left hooks.
Ronnie Shields loved the jab that Evander was throwing in, and that sets up everything else. That's going to set up the left hooks, the right uppercut's going to set everything else up because Maddalone's going to be expecting that jab. Maddalone's right eye is cut right under the right eye.
All those left hooks. Yep. Interesting thing is if they could somehow stem the bleeding. Interesting to see what kind of gas Holyfield had in the tank if we got to late round.
Exactly, I would like to see that.
Because he's fought at a pretty good pace. Moved in round number one. He's pumped the jab. He's done a lot of left hooks. He's landed a lot of shots.
Using his legs well as well. Using his legs well in this round. Sticking that jab out.
I was watching a Klitschko fight last week in Germany, and Lennox Lewis was doing the broadcast on HBO, and he talked about one of the guys that hit him to the body harder than anyone in his career was Evander Holyfield. He hasn't really attacked Maddalone's body.
Look at that spin out of those ropes again. I'd love to see that.
Responding. Right hand, left hand from Holyfield. And Maddalone holding on for dear life. Maddalone's tough, though. He's only been stopped twice, and both times on cuts.
His face is not looking too good right now either.
And Al Cerdo has come up on the ring apron. Al Cerdo, you can see him waving. That's the corner of Maddalone, and he stops the fight. And that's a veteran boxing guy, Al Cerdo, doing the right thing because Maddalone was getting pounded.
He was just going to get knocked out or cut worse, and he did not need that. There was no way he was going to win that round or that fight.
Holyfield was pounding Maddalone in that third round. Boy, the work rate for Evander Holyfield through
He's not breathing hard.
When has he ever not been in shape? And cuts. All right, in round number one, Holyfield with his left hooks opened up a cut on the right eye, and then watch here, Maddalone comes charging in.
He was charging in from the get-go.
And the heads clashed. Maddalone argued with the doctors. Let's keep it going, and then watch Holyfield go to work. The uppercut.
And with the left hook behind it. I would like to know how many left hooks he threw in this fight. That was incredible.
Just pounding away at Maddalone. It's amazing he didn't go down. And finally, Al Cerdo came up on the ring apron and called a quit to the fight out of Maddalone's corner. So Evander Holyfield gets his 41st professional victory and his 27th stoppage at the ripe old age of 44. Well, he hasn't fought in Corpus Christi, Texas in 23 years. 44-year-old Evander Holyfield dominates Vinny Maddalone and finishes him off in the third round. For the official time of the stoppage, once again, here's our ring announcer, Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the request of the blue corner, referee Ruben Carrion stops the fight with an official time of 2 minutes, 48 seconds of round number 3. Your winner, by way of technical knockout, Evander, the real deal, Holyfield.
American Bank Center, Corpus Christi, Texas. Evander Holyfield stops Vinny Maddalone in round number 3 with an impressive performance. Holyfield is in the ring with Art Mack.
Okay, Evander, first of all, the headbutt on the replay, it was clear that he lunged towards you, and that's what caused the problem.
Well, you know, the majority of the time is that I never put my head over my stand. So most people to get to me quick, keep me from hitting with a jab, they lunge in, and they run into my head, and I've been accused of headbutting when they are really headbutting me.
And of course, you saw that big cut on his forehead there. So, what was your thinking at that point?
Well, you know, at that time the guy kept leading with his head, and that happened. I would catch him a lot of shots, but when he lunged at me and got that cut on the forehead, then you know I knew that was a distraction because it kept going in his eye.
Okay, now you were setting him up beautifully with your left jab and your left hook. Let's go through this sequence right here.
Well, you know, as you see, you know, I started off with a jab, then I was able to hit him with that looping around right hand, then an uppercut with that right hand. And see, and that's the whole big thing is that punch from different angles where the guy just really is not going to have a defense for it.
Yeah, but don't you think your left hook is really what established the pace of this fight?
Well, you know, it did. And what people don't understand is that when I had the shoulder injury, I stopped using the left hook, which is one of my effective weapons because I can hook off the jab. And once he started stopping the jab, and I was able to hook off the jab. And, you know, one thing in boxing is if you're not using all your tools, you become ordinary.
Okay, let's go back, say, to the Ruiz fight, what, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, let's compare where you are right now following the shoulder surgery to those prime years.
Well, you know, I'm 10 years fresher. You know, at the time that I fought John Ruiz in 2000, everything was falling apart. That's when I got the 2 shoulder surgery and one on my right and all that. And that's the reason why I lost 3 fights in a row. I could mentally, but the guy was just too good for me fighting him injured.
What I'm asking is, at the age of 44, are you back to that point, you think?
Well, I'm back. You know, I'm a lot better, and because, you know, with age, you get more knowledge and you get a little bit more patient. And as you see, every time I hurt this guy, I didn't really just go at him like a bandit. Yeah, I took my time to look for the clean shots, and I think that's going to allowed me to be the 5-time heavyweight champion of the world. And yeah, I guess one of the most things I like to thank God for allowing me to recover, allowing me to recover and not quit because of what everybody was saying. You old, you can't pull the trigger. And I realized I was injured, and I just didn't want to complain about my injury because it takes away from the fighter, because the fighter don't know that you're injured. They do the very best they can, and I do the very best that I can, but now that everything is, thank God that everything is better, I'm able to fight like I usually fight.
Okay, $64,000 question. Do you think you now need to go up against maybe a top 10, top 15 fighter, then go up against a world champ? Or do you think you're ready to go over to Russia, fight one of the big boys over there?
I'm ready for a championship fight. I fought a 13 fight last time, and the guy, it was a good fight, but after I dropped in the first round, he just didn't fight anymore, and I wasn't able to catch him and be able to pull him, get myself close, but I'm ready for any one of the champions.
Right now?
Right now.
Okay. Congratulations, Evander.
Thank you.
Back to you, Bob.
Yeah, Evander was referring to his 12-round win in his last fight against Frez Akendo back in November. But Holyfield closes the show as he stops Vinny Maddalone in the 3rd round here in Corpus Christi, Texas. Well, Corpus Christi, Texas, thrilled tonight by the return of Evander Holyfield, and he stops Vinny Maddalone in round number 3 as Al Certo, the corner man for Maddalone, steps up to the ring apron and asks the fight to be halted. Jesse James Leija, first of all, the Maddalone camp a little hot about that clash of heads in round number 1, complaining that Holyfield always uses his head, which he's been known to do in the past. Your take on the headbutt that caused the bad cut?
Maddalone was obviously rushing in. Evander ducked down to protect himself from the headbutt. Maddalone got cut.
Now, what about Holyfield? We didn't see him go 10 rounds, but he had very good legs for the 3 rounds that we saw him.
He looked incredible. I would love to see him get a big opportunity for a world title fight now. I think he's ready.
Well, the one thing that he was able to do, as he mentioned in the interview with Art Mack, is throw that left hook, which has been out of his game because of the shoulder surgery, and he used it as a weapon, and then the uppercut.
Did he use it today?
Yeah, a little bit.
Once or twice? It was incredible. It was incredible. And it all came off with the jab on top of that. Great jabs, great left hooks, great right uppercut.
Now, do you think with the 3 Russians having pieces of the heavyweight championship, with Vladimir Klitschko being recognized as the real heavyweight champion, Shannon Briggs of Brooklyn has the WBO title, do you think a win against Vinny Maddalone is enough to get Holyfield a title shot, or does he have to prove more?
It's hard to say. I would love to see it now. I think maybe the boxing public, I think the HBO, the TV wants to see him prove more. But I think he's ready now.
Former 2-time world champion Jesse James Leija in your home state. It's been a lot of fun, buddy.
Hey, it's been incredible. I want to thank you for having me next to you.
All right, good working with you. Well, Evander Holyfield closed the show in fine fashion. Calvin Brock also very impressive tonight. Watch that right hand as he took out Ralph Wild West in the 1st round of that bout, as Calvin Brock gets win number 30 on his career. Not a lot of hugs and kisses when Evander Holyfield gets into the ring against Vinny Maddalone. Well, they went toe-to-toe, a clash of heads, but Holyfield finished strong and stopped him in round number 3. For Jesse James Leija and Art Mack, I'm Bob Papa. Thanks for watching on CNA.
The best boxing action